The United States Forest Service registers thousands of lost hikers annually. Nearly all are found within 24 hours. But there exists a separate category of cases that rescue personnel refer to unofficially as the quiet ones. These are disappearances where standard search protocols fail. Search dogs trace a trail and suddenly stop, as if hitting an invisible wall. The missing are sometimes found miles from any trail, often barefoot, occasionally with clothing carefully folded and removed, as though the person undressed voluntarily, in sub-zero temperatures in the middle of a forest. One such case occurred in October 2003 in the Olympic Peninsula Wilderness, Washington state. The official file is closed. But radio dispatch recordings released through Freedom of Information requests in 2016 reveal something no one has been able to explain. 16 seconds of audio that shouldn't exist. 3 people entered that forest on the morning of October 11, 2003. Ryan Hale, 31 years old, a professional hiking guide with 10 years of experience in this exact district. His younger brother Cole, 24, visiting from Portland for the weekend. And Amber Sue, Ryan's colleague, a wildlife biologist contracted to study northern spotted owl populations for the state university. They were there to maintain audio monitoring equipment deep in the forest. The route was routine. Ryan had guided groups through this area dozens of times. The trail was well marked. Water was accessible. 3 ranger stations, abandoned hunting shelters from the 1970s, provided emergency shelter along the way. They left at dawn. The plan was simple. 2 days, 1 overnight camp, return by evening of the 12th. Ryan had filed a route card with the ranger station, as required. The first day was uneventful. But that evening, Amber wrote something in her field journal that contradicted the routine nature of the hike. She wrote, "Cole says he's been hearing someone calling his name from the direction of the creek all day. We hear nothing. Ryan says it's acoustic distortion, water sounds forming syllables at distance. Cole doesn't argue, but he doesn't look convinced. There is an old rule passed among hunters and hikers throughout the deep forests of America's Pacific Northwest, from the Appalachians to the Cascade Range. It's phrased differently depending on who tells it, but the meaning is always the same. If you hear someone calling your name in the forest, especially at night or in fog, and especially if that voice sounds like someone you know, do not respond until you see that person with your own eyes. The voice can sound absolutely convincing. It can have your mother's intonation, your brother's cadence, your best friend's inflection. But according to this belief, a real person will never call more than twice without moving closer. If a voice calls 3 times from a direction where no one has been, there is only one rule: do not answer. To answer is to consent to follow. Ryan Hale knew this legend. He was a professional guide. He knew the folklore. And on the first evening, with Amber present, he laughed at it, as recorded in her journal. But on October 12th, in the afternoon, something happened that changed how he regarded that old rule entirely. Cole had walked away from camp, maybe 150 meters, to check the last monitoring station in a small ravine, still within clear sight of Ryan and Amber. He was gone only minutes. Then both of them heard it. Cole's voice, calm and ordinary, as if he had found something and wanted to show them. He called out Ryan's name. Ryan did not answer immediately. He called back, asking what was wrong. Silence. Half a minute later, the voice came again. But this time it came from the opposite direction. From behind them. From the forest they had just walked through. Amber's journal entry after this moment is written with clinical precision, as if she were fighting panic by documenting facts. The voice called a 3rd time, from a 3rd direction, not where he went, not where it called the 2nd time, from the side. Ryan went pale. He told me not to move no matter what I heard. He said he was going to find Cole the way he actually went. The team carried a satellite radio for emergency communication with the Forest Service base station, mandatory equipment for this terrain. At 4:47 p.m. on October 12th, a transmission was received. The recording survives. The transcription is part of the official case file. For the first 15 seconds, Ryan's voice is steady. He provides GPS coordinates. He requests immediate assistance. He explains that a group member has become separated and isn't responding to calls. The duty ranger asks clarifying questions. Standard protocol. Then comes the fragment that has been circulated online for nearly 2 decades. The moment where protocol breaks down. Ryan says, "I found him. I'm following his voice, he's calling me, but he's calling my name. From 3 different directions at the same time. Not in sequence. Simultaneously. 3 voices. All his voice." The ranger asks if he has visual confirmation. Ryan, "No. But I see tracks. Fresh tracks. They're all around me. In a circle. Like someone walked in circles around me while I was standing still. I haven't moved. I've been standing in one spot the whole time." And then the unexplained fragment. 16 seconds of what sounds like static. But when this recording was analyzed by audio engineers in 2016, they discovered something inside that noise. Multiple audio layers, all speaking the same word, all slightly offset from each other. As if a single phrase echoing into itself again and again. The word was a name, Ryan. After 16 seconds, the transmission ends. No further contact was ever made with any member of the group. Search and rescue operations began on October 13th. 40 volunteer searchers, trained dogs, and a Forest Service helicopter were mobilized. The campsite was located quickly. Within the first day, the tent was still standing. Sleeping bags were neatly rolled. Backpacks and equipment lay undisturbed. Only the radio was missing. It was found 300 meters away, resting on a flat stone in the center of a small meadow. It had been carefully placed there. The device was still powered on. The battery was almost full. The search dogs were brought to the radio location. Both dogs independently took the scent trail of Ryan Hale and confidently led handlers in a circular pattern. Literally circular, approximately 40 meters in diameter, around the same meadow. After 3 complete circles, both dogs, without coordination, stopped simultaneously. They lay down on the ground. They would not move. They would not respond to commands. The handlers had to physically remove them from the area. Cole Hale was found on the 4th day of the search. He was alive. He was approximately 7 miles from the location where he was last heard from. Given the terrain and the lack of direct routes, this distance should have been nearly impossible to cover in the time elapsed. He was suffering from mild hypothermia but had no other injuries. When he regained consciousness, Cole had no memory of the events after he first called out to Ryan. Nothing. The hours between that moment and his rescue had been completely erased from his mind. But Cole did provide one statement to investigators. A statement that authorities judged as irrelevant and did not include in the official summary. When asked what was the last thing he remembered before losing time, Cole said, "I turned around because I heard Ryan calling my name. But the voice sounded right, but it didn't call my name. Called me by Ryan's name. Like he forgot which one of us he was supposed to be talking to." The official conclusion of the United States Forest Service. Presumed death as a result of wilderness accident and terrain exposure. Remains not located due to inaccessible topography. There is no mention in the official record of the meadow, the circles, or the 16 seconds of audio. That recording exists only in the archive. It was obtained by journalists through Freedom of Information requests years after the case was closed. Cole Hale left Portland 2 years after the incident. In a single interview granted to an independent journalist in 2015, an interview Cole later requested be removed from publication, he made one statement that the journalist managed to quote before the request was honored. "I don't call people by their names in the forest anymore. Not first. I wait to be called. And even then, I look first with my eyes. Only then do I use my voice." The trail on the Olympic Peninsula where this occurred remains open to the public. It's considered one of the most scenic hikes in Washington state. Thousands of people walk it every year without incident. But the Forest Service rangers, unofficially, still give one piece of advice to inexperienced hikers. You won't find it in any official pamphlet or safety guide. They simply tell you, if your name is called in the forest, count how many times. If it's more than twice, don't answer.